to retrieve.
On the laptop computer found in the Joseph apartment building was a file which laid out a plan for 5 individuals, using code names, individuals not mentioned on the plan, to board about 3 planes each, 2 planes, a couple of people had 3 planes, planting bombs on the planes, and then returning back to their home. Hoping when they planted the bombs and with the timing devices, if everything went well, all bombs would go off within about a 6-hour time period. Any more than one would have been an airline disaster. So, you know, if they were 50% successful in their plan, I think it would have scared a lot of people for a long time.
The file on Yusef's laptop reveals that the plan, codenamed Bojinka, is foiled with no time to spare. The bombing of 11 American planes is meant to kill 4,000 passengers. Yusef's campaign of terror is scheduled to start less than 2 weeks after the bust of his bomb factory in Manila. By the time Pellegrino and the FBI team arrive in the Philippines, Yusef is long gone.
So it was a worry, and it was a missed opportunity. But we also, on a lot of these fugitive-type cases, you know, we're all not that different, and everybody goes home. Everybody needs to go home. And so the investigation, again, would focus back to Pakistan.
The FBI immediately began a publicity campaign in Pakistan, promoting their $2 million reward for assistance in arresting Yusef. The strategy works. Yusef's latest recruit for yet another airline bombing blows the whistle. On the day Yusef is due to leave his hotel in Islamabad, a Pakistani SWAT team moves in.
In a convoy of federal and local patrol cars, Ramzi Ahmed Yusef was brought into New York City late Wednesday night, ending a worldwide manhunt. He was arrested Tuesday in Pakistan by Pakistani authorities and brought back by the FBI on a U.S. plane, then into custody with heavy security on the street in case of any terrorist attacks prompted by his arrest.
At his trial a year later in New York's Southern District Court, Yusef decides to handle his own defense, against the advice of the judge. He performs better than expected, but he's found guilty on all charges related to the bombing of PAL 434 and conspiring to bomb 11 American passenger planes. He is also found guilty in a second trial for the World Trade Center bombing. In his final summing up, Yusef justifies his actions.
Yes, I am a terrorist and proud of it. And I only support terrorism so long as it's against the United States government and against Israel, because you are more than terrorists.
Although Pakistani, Yusef describes himself as Palestinian by choice, and he justifies the PAL 434 and World Trade Center bombings as punishment for a U.S. foreign policy that favors Israel over Palestine.
And hypocrites!
For both crimes, he is sentenced to 240 years in prison. The judge recommends solitary confinement for life in the most secure prison in the United States, located in Florence, Colorado. It houses the country's most violent and dangerous prisoners, and it is where Yusef will spend the rest of his life, confined in a cell for 23 out of every 24 hours. In the year following Yusef's attack on PAL 434, the Federal Aviation Administration certified a machine to detect explosives. Not one American carrier bought it. Only after 9/11 was a law passed that required U.S. airports to deploy explosive detection systems. But the most reliable models are expensive, are too slow, and still not widely employed.
Well, it was the old saying that, you know, we have to be right 100% of the time. Terrorists only has to be right once.
Although there hasn't been a successful airliner bombing since PAL 434, those who forget the past may be destined to revisit it.